In this video, I'm talking to anyone who's busting their ass in the restaurant industry right now, and I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you should consider the tech industry.
You're a phony!
First off, if you love your restaurant job, stay there. If you eat, sleep, and breathe food and you just love doing that kind of thing, this video is not for you. This is for the people who don't like their job. They sit in their car for 20 minutes before work, still walk in 5 minutes late, and they're miserable the whole night. Because that's how I felt. I felt trapped in my position as a sushi chef for 10 years. And if you feel a similar way, then I guarantee you that you can work your way out of it. It just takes some brain sweat. If you don't think you have what it takes to code, just look within yourself and ask, like, why can't you? I've heard every excuse in the book. I mean, everyone has their own excuses, but really, most of the time, I kind of think that they're invalid. I don't want to be attacked here, but I mean, I've seen blind developers, I've seen developers with many kids, I've seen programmers that are old. None of that matters. It's just how driven are you to learn the skills that you want to bring value to the workplace. I personally flunked out of college, had a kid, but I mean, none of that really matters if you put in the time. That being said, let's move on to the first reason why you should consider tech as a good career change. So reason 1, we should be able to eat like dignified human beings. I believe every human should be treated with respect, and that's one of those things, is just being able to eat at, like a regular time, and not rushing yourself and not having to hunch underneath a cutting board or sit on top of a bucket in a washroom, or even like just sitting outside having to eat. Like, as a restaurant worker, you make the food all day, but when it comes time for you to actually eat something, it's like it's the end of the world, and we have to finish in like 5 minutes also. Reason number 2, you don't need a degree. It's just plain and simple. It helps. It definitely doesn't hurt to have a degree, but like for myself, I don't have one, and it's just how much time and effort are you willing to put into a portfolio to make yourself seem credible, because that's ultimately what a college does. It just makes you credible so that people will either hire you as an employee, or a client will trust you enough to work on their project. And no degree does not mean no education. That is the opposite of what I'm saying. You need to get into the mindset of constantly learning and wanting to learn to better yourself. See? And saying that it costs too much, that's a bad excuse. The best education for programming, in my opinion, is all free online. I'm gonna link some. I'm gonna link some sources below that I think are really good sources of education, like Free Code Camp, there's Codecademy, and there are paid options out there that are probably really good. But I feel like, I promise you that you do not need to pay a single dime to get the skills you need to get your first job in programming. Reason 3, no floors to mop. It was mind-blowing for me to be able to leave a job without doing like a whole list of closing duties, like mopping, sweeping, like picking up the food, putting in the cooler, cleaning out the cooler, just wiping everything down, and then also it being like midnight whenever you're leaving. Everything's done, everything's closed already, like on the streets also, unless you live in like New York or something. But if you live in a small town, by the time the restaurant closes, it's done. Like, you're just going to sleep and you're waiting till the next day, and then you have a huge block of time before you work again that, I mean, no one's available because everyone else is working. Which brings me to number 4. I don't know about you, but whenever I was working in a restaurant, there was no concept of bringing your work home with you. So I would just go home and chill, play video games or do whatever, shoot the shit. But that's the perfect time for you to improve your life and just learn a new skill. It doesn't even have to be coding. It can be whatever you want. But a lot of people just waste it. What I did was I just did very unsavory things with my time that I now regret, but it built me to the person that I am today. So I don't really regret in that sense, because I feel like it's opened my eyes to a lot of new opportunities that I wouldn't be able to see without that experience. And then reason number 5, a better environment. I cannot stress the impact that a better environment has affected me positively in my life. This isn't a knock at chefs or cooks or, people who, like I said earlier, enjoy their work. But just because of the low entry barrier to the restaurant industry and service industry in general, it kind of attracts less mature people. I'm not saying I'm mature at all. I think that's a very immature thing to say that, oh, I'm done growing up, I'm done learning. But because that's never gonna happen. But a lot of people that I worked with literally had no drive to move up in any kind of skill at all, or like to learn anything new. They just wanted to do the same thing over and over, yet they complained every single day about why their lives sucked. It just didn't make sense to me. So that's why I eventually drifted away from everyone that I was hanging out with in those restaurants. It's like there was something that wasn't clicking, and it became more and more awkward to go hang out with them after work or go have a drink because there was nothing. We had nothing in common. I couldn't talk to them about how I wanted to do things like learn more or program or just better myself in general. They would just look at me like, what? Are you serious right now? Like, are you a nerd? Also, you have to deal with things like coworkers being just not wanting to come into work. For example, like, I'm feeling hungover. My head hurts. Can I just not come in? It's like, um, it's not my responsibility to pick up your shift because you got hungover. I've had people leaving work, getting high at work, and like just not being able to handle it, leaving then, or straight up quitting just because they don't feel like being there anymore. That's the kind of stuff that you have to deal with whenever you're working with people who don't enjoy what they're doing. So if you're tired of not enjoying what you do, and you have big dreams, like you want to make an app, a game, or anything that requires software, like it can even be tech sales. Those are all things that are in the tech world that could benefit from you learning how to program. Because being on both sides, you really do add a lot of value to the equation. We have the soft skills to talk to people, to let them know how we feel, and we've been out in the world versus people who spent those years studying or whatever. And I really believe that we can bring a lot to the table. So if you're tired of going to work and not being excited about what you do, and you just want to change, feel free to join the Code Pony Squad. We're all here to help each other. If you have any programming questions or just want to hang out with some motivated people, you can join my Discord. Hit the notification bell, join the notification squad, and just please hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you.